There's no gainsaying the fact that the people of Ilorin in Nigeria's north-central zone are some of the most educated, very industrious, and high-achieving people in Nigeria. In fact, majority of them have held and are still occupying very high offices in the strategic areas of Nigerian life. Ilorin people place a lot of premium to Ilorin town, to which they attach a lot of sentiment. For instance, one can hardly find Ilorin people celebrating the traditional aspect of their children's marriage outside Ilorin town. Usually very conservative, but highly knowledgeable, discerning, and very much in tune with the dictates and norms of modern times. The average Ilorin person cannot for any reason compromise their deep respect for the tenets of the Islamic religion in whatever they do. When it comes to marriage, the Ilorin people pay more than a passing attention to the laid-down rules that guide the sacred institution of marriage from the very beginning to the end. For 4 days, from Tuesday 26th to Friday 29th of August 2014, the families of Sheikh Dr. Suleiman and Alaja Rahamat Farouk Onikijikba and Dr. Toyin and Ambassador Nihimot Akambi played host to people from different parts of the world in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. This was on the occasion of the traditional aspect or wedding fatia of their children, Irada Temitokwe and Abdurrahman of Bashola Akambi. The event followed the sequence of the Wolimot, which is an event usually dedicated to test the mastery and competence of the bride in the reading of the Holy Quran. This usually dovetails into the nikah, where the bride and groom are formally joined together in strict adherence to Islamic injunctions. Of course, the first item to formally welcome all the guests was the bride's Eve, or what the Yorubas call Aisun Yawo. This is a forum where friends of the bride send her forth from the spinsterhood league. All these events, which were well attended by leading Islamic scholars like Shehu Onikijikba, traditional rulers, past and present public office holders, particularly from Ilorin and Kwara State, were held at the home of the bride, the Onikijikba compound in Ilorin. The special guest of honor who welcomed the guests at the nikah was the executive governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed. He was supported by a rich retinue of top government functionaries from Kwara State. There was Quranic recitation and preaching by the officiating ministers, who spent quality time explaining what the roles of the bride and groom should be in the lifelong enterprise they're embarking upon.
Of all the promises and all the provenance, there is none worthier to be fulfilled than that which makes a man and a woman legal and legitimate for one another.
وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين 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 آمين.
After having fulfilled all righteousness, so to speak, as regards observing the traditional aspect of the wedding, keeping strictly to the religious tenets surrounding such a sacred matter, which is very sacrosanct to Ilorin people, both families went to town with top-class arrangement and top-of-the-range dignitaries from all aspects of life at the reception to round off the week-long multi-legged marriage extravaganza of their children, Iradat Temitokwe Onikijikba and Abdurrahman of Bashola Akambi. The event took place at the highbrow Oriental Hotel at the Lekki area of Lagos. Date Sunday 31st of August 2014. Indeed, the Ilorin people really showed that depending on what the occasion demands, they're very much at home and even more than equal to the task. It seemed to be payback time for the parents of the couple who drew from their rich overflowing Goodwill Bank account. There was an overwhelming presence of the friends and family members of both families from different parts of the world at the 7-star wedding reception they gave their children. These children, by the way, are recipients of very rich education accomplishments, having bagged 2 degrees both at home and abroad in the best institutions of learning around the world. And as we speak, they are both aspiring to expand their knowledge scope. The mother of the groom, Dr. Mrs. Nimota Nihilola Akombi, who is a renowned educationist, is Nigeria's ambassador to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. She had earlier served as the principal of Queen Elizabeth School in Ilorin, Kwara State. Ambassador Nimota Akombi was the National Vice Chairman, North Central Zone of All Nigeria Conference of Secondary Schools. She is a fellow and president of Association of Business Educators. Dr. Nimota Akombi is an author. She was honored with the Presidential Award of the Best School Administrator in 2007. She is a proud daughter of Ilorin in Kwara State. The parents of the bride, Dr. Suleiman and Alhaja Rahamat Farouk Onikijukba, are very religiously inclined, but have made a great mark in the areas of entrepreneurial success as employers of labor, with hundreds of Ilorin indigents and Nigerians in their employ. The reception, which was chaired by one of the longest-serving governors of Kwara State and now a serving senator, Dr. Bukola Saraki, also had in attendance the governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, ministers in the Federal Executive Council, traditional rulers from all parts of the country, and highly placed dignitaries. The event began with the mothers of the bride, Ambassador Nimota Akombi and Alhaja Rahamat Farouk Onikijukba, who turned out in the same attire, dancing round the hall, joyously acknowledging cheers from the audience. Everyone looked on top of their game. They turned out in the brown lace color code prescribed for the day. Something must be said about the eye-catching outfits of the bridal train, the groomsmen and the bridesmaid. They stood out very specially in the class of their own, and all eyes were fixed on them. The magical underground tunnel at the Oriental Hotels in Lekki, Lagos was at it again, as the couple burst out from the car right inside the tunnel, to the utter surprise of everyone. The couple, especially the groom, treated the audience to a long drawn-out session of dancing, and the DJ settled down to hit them with latest vibes. Clearly, the groom was on top of the game. The couple were also backed by the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. The reception formally began with the opening prayer, which was delivered by a Muslim cleric. The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Bukola Saraki, congratulated both parents for the success of the marriage of their children. He advised the couple to work hard to see that the marriage works at all costs. He advised them to put things to prayers.
The only advice I always say is that it's a journey. It's a long journey, and the journey through prayers. And the Almighty Allah will guide you. Nobody knows the perfect route. Nobody knows the perfect way. So you see, some are successful, some aren't. But I think the Almighty Allah will guide you from the background you both come from your humility, and I've met both of you before now. I'm proud of you, and I'm sure inshallah we will see many successes out of this.
The cutting of the wedding cake was another high point of the wedding ceremony. The couple fed each other in a stylish manner and danced afterwards. The bride and her mum and the groom and her mum also took to the dancing floor.
Please put your hands together for them as they pop this beautiful cake. Can we all jump the hands together for them?
The friends of the groom danced with the groom in a circle, while the friends of the bride came out in large numbers to partake in the throwing of the bouquet of flowers by the bride. There's a lot of good feeling in the air and spirited dancing too. The couple changed into traditional attire and joined in the fun while it lasted. It's hearty congratulations to the families of Sheikh Dr. Suleiman and Alhaja Rahamat Farouk Onigijipa and Dr. Toyin and Ambassador Nihimot Akambi, all from Ilorin, Kwara State. We wish your children the very best marriage can offer them.